Hey everyone, welcome back to the Automotive Logistics and Supply Chain Red Sofa. Very pleased to be joined here by Marcio Lucon, who leads global logistics and containers at General Motors and has been recently speaking to us for our publication and was just on stage as well, and now very excited to drill into more topics with them here. And I wanted to pick up immediately on the topic of agility and flexibility. It's sort of the leitmotif of our conference, that we need more agility, more flexibility. But at the same time, that comes at a cost and needs a consideration. So what are some most important levers you're using at General Motors to increase that agility and flexibility?
Yeah, so it's important to mention that in the previous environment, we were planning logistics for the life cycle of the program. We had variations, but not so much variations. And today is a completely different world. What we plan today might not work next month or even in the afternoon. So the way we need to do is just move our decisions ahead of everything we take a decision. So we are now playing a key role in the early phase of the development of all strategic decisions of the company. And the objective of that is just to make sure that the whole company has visibility of the complexity and volatility of our environment, and together we can build up solutions together. So we build up a solution that considers the volatility, considers the flexibility, at the same time enable us to adjust through the life cycle and make changes very fast and very quick. And the other important thing is that we'll never be able to do that. It's not only a GM piece of the story, it's something that we do in collaboration with internal stakeholders as well as external stakeholders. So suppliers are also part of that journey with us.
Absolutely. And that point on the influence of supply chain logistics earlier in the process, upfront in product and production planning, is such an important one, and something you've highlighted to me right from the beginning of you coming into the role. Are there examples you'd like to point to where you're starting to see that happen better and bear results?
Yeah, so I think there are a few examples. I can say packaging decisions. We are all deciding in all very end part of the programs. So I used to say that logistics transformed from a service provider in the company for a key player now in the company. So deciding packaging after I have all the decisions. So then, okay, and then I need complex in the packaging. I need specialized packaging that don't fit well in the truck, don't fit well in the plant, have very high cost, cannot be reused. So this one thing we did very quickly. Now we have packaging in the early phase of the process. The other things, now we are in a nice window of reindustrialization for our business and in North America. And that's where we need to work and need to understand, okay, where we put the suppliers, where we put the LOC, where we put the sub-assemblies in a way that we have the right logistics and flexible logistics. And again, very important point, logistics is an area that you can do with no investments. We can rely on the partners, but in the end of the day is where we have less control, right? So playing in the right way, make the right investments, allow you to have some control or have flexibility in the areas that we don't want to control.
Such a great point, especially as you highlight this sort of time of reindustrialization, and now having logistics involved at the right point will be critical. But you highlighted packaging there as a key area that you've already started to address, and I believe there's been some change in the organization as well in terms of bringing packaging more within your organization. Why is that? Why is that so important, and what are opportunities that you see in having this focus?
Yeah, so packaging is always a high investment in the company, and there are two kinds of packages. The packages we call standard, which is the one most of business uses, and the ones that are specialized. When we put the right investment on the right focus and the right investment on package, we end up going all specialized, which is less efficient in cost, less efficient in maintenance, less efficient in use, less efficient transportation. And that was happening for the reason I mentioned before, because we are not taking decisions in the right moment. And second, we are taking decisions by multiple leaders in the organization where package was not their priorities. So everyone has a different job and seconds package. So if you have a second as a priority, becomes second as well as decision, probably becomes second as inefficiency. So what we did very quickly, okay, you put all the team together, we have under one group that collaborates a lot, so there's a lot of cross-functional alignment, learning, and to make sure that we can optimize not only the process, the development, but as well as the solutions in a way that we have the right business model.
Fantastic, great examples there. So another area we've seen big shifts is in the EV market. GM has more than doubled its volume this year alone. Of course, we know it's a complex demand picture to forecast, so that puts some consideration on your vehicle logistics network. And so what are some of the ways that you're working in vehicle logistics within the network and with your partners to manage those value fluctuations?
So EV, there's a lot of things that are similar and a lot of things that require a different approach. And I would say on the inbound, there is all the battery transportation requires completely different way that when you move an exhaust. I think this we have a pretty good setup in GM. It's all local, all US with high technology. And that we need to manage just the volume goes up or goes down, the volatility. When you go to the finished vehicles, there is again similar things, but two main issues that we see differently than other ICE vehicles. One is heavy. EV vehicles are more heavy, so the loading factor is different. So we need to plan in a different way how we do all the loading planning for this distribution. Second, there are more uncertainty in the market. So for example, when you're gonna play with full-size trucks on the ICE vehicles, we know the business, we know the dealers, we know the colors, we play really well, we make a plan and this works perfectly. In EV, if we do the same, we're gonna move all the risk to the dealers, which is there's kind of uncertainty and volatility in the final customers. So we developed what we call EV fulfillment centers, which are special places that we keep the EVs, and the dealers can pull from there. So they have availability, they can quickly react, because a EV customer, if they lose the window, you basically lose the sale. And at the same time, they don't carry all the instability of the market. This is an initial stage that's very aligned with the commercial operation, and now you are optimizing this group and try to move them inside our VDC in a way that we have EV specific requirements inside our old VDC operations. And so this is working really well. And I'd say GM is performing really strong. We believe on EV, that's our future strategy. And we have a very strong portfolio, either for ICE or for EV. The customer can pick what they want, and you're gonna be the right products. And we have been performing almost double than last year. So we are very strong second play in the market and moving in the right direction. And we'll never be able to do that without the right logistics, either inbound or outbound.
Absolutely. So let's turn a little bit to the after sales side of it. Obviously, customer care and after sales is part of your organization as well. What efforts are you taking in logistics to ensure these services are as dynamic and meet their customer requirements?
So after sales, there are a little bit of different requirements. Of course, we need to meet customer expectations, but anyone who buys a car and go to the dealer and need to fix one part number. If you don't have the part number, you need to find a way to have this part number very quick. So this requires a kind of more flexible business model, which is not necessarily the most best cost, but we go targeting the customer. What we're trying to do now is two things. Basically, make sure we go and have the customer, attend the customer even better than what we do today. But there are a lot of opportunities in cost that we can improve, we can optimize. We have been operating similar model for some time. We see in other industry, other companies, like I can mention Amazon, there are different ways to do that. So we are that journey to transform, keeping the high level of performance in customer, but as well as optimizing the cost. And this also includes more synergy with production, with OE production. We do some, we know other competitors do more, so that's a space that we need to make some improvements.
Exciting. So let's finish just with a bit of outlook. Obviously, as ever, the industry faces challenges, disruption. But what's your sentiments about the future? When you look to the future of automotive logistics, supply chain, what's your expectation in the years ahead?
I would say first is the best time to be in logistics. Probably best time to be in logistics in US. A lot of things changing. Logistics has a characteristic that you can be creative, you can develop, and you can implement, and you can see in the same window you are there, right? You don't need to be 50 years in the function to see the results. I think logistics will be always required in the business. Some things we see probably not going to be here anymore, but we always required. But that is a space that we need to move in the direction that the best logistics is no logistics. So I know I'm talking about very opposite things, but that's the direction we need to go. And logistics is becoming really a key player in the organization, not only because of cost, but because it's the driver to allow you to be flexible and allow you to also to protect from resilience. So I think the role of logistics is much more than just moving and just cost, is really enabling the business for the success. So I think we are in a completely different position.
Thank you so much, Marcio, for sharing this. I think it's an interesting seeming contradiction. It's the best time to be in logistics. Part of the job is to reduce the logistics, yes. but I think that's part of the strategic view that GM and your partners need to have. Thank you so much for sharing this with us and our audience. We look forward to sharing more from the stage, from your interview. Please remember to check it out at Automotive Logistics, and we'll be keeping up with all of these transformations in the year ahead. Thank you so much, Marcio.
Thank you very much.